I was just reflecting back on the first CEO I worked with. I called him the Celtic Tiger because we used to play golf. It was kind of our safe place to talk about big things, getting out of the office, because that's where we were always focused on getting things done throughout the day. And sometimes those things can be opposing forces. So I called him the Celtic Tiger because of his Irish heritage and his relentless focus on performance in all aspects of the company, financial and productivity, kind of like the economy of Ireland back in the mid-90s and early 2000s. But that juxtaposition of doing great things and getting things done is really a big challenge. And I learned a really important lesson from those experiences in the time on the golf course. It was kind of a fun experience of setting aside about 2 hours to focus on the bigger picture, what was working, what wasn't working. And it was a great reflection on what we were learning from the other locations as we were trying to coordinate this activity and learn more about performance. We really didn't have a tradition. Being a smaller company, it was working without the tradition of good performance measures. People didn't really know how to relate their performance to the financial performance of the company. It was more of, this is my experience, I've been doing this job for a certain number of years, I care about my clients. And so there was more of a culture of loyalty versus performance. So when we were talking about what it took to do great things, it was really a big change for everybody. So he and I started working on these good measures to bring to people in the context of their work, and it was a real shock for them. And so we had to kind of carve out time for them, getting away from their getting things done to do great things. And it was my first experience with stakeholder value. And I was reminded, just reading a recent reflection from Rita McGrath. If you don't know her, she's just a great leader on change and looking at it from the big corporate view. That's, from my point of view, it's more the smaller company. But what she revealed is a man named Ed Friedman talked about stakeholder value, and its original intention was to be the person who held on to the wages in a gambling situation, the trusted person to hold on to those wagers as people were engaged in the gambling. And it's over time evolved into this idea of this interconnected kind of shared value as we come together, the interconnectedness of the experience. So the important takeaway was, though, to create that safe space, that safe place, if you will, to engage in those big conversations, and recognizing that people are often not prepared for that conversation, whether it be, I've never been at that level of thinking, or maybe it's that I'm really kind of focused on loyalty and I'd rather not disturb that loyalty because I kind of like that comfort zone, and maybe the idea that I don't have to reflect on my performance. I can just do what I did yesterday, and as long as I've been here a long time, everything's going to be fine. But the relationship I was thinking about was that gamble of doing great things and knowing that sometimes you have to kind of recognize the risk of what it might take in terms of investments or your reputation, or maybe doing things differently with how you relate to new customers or how you're going to relate to the team. And so what I was helping the Celtic Tiger to do was to build that interconnectedness throughout the company. And it was almost like I was organizing the power lines between houses on a neighborhood block. What was really fun about it was actually working in a way that I didn't expect, in a mutually beneficial way. As I was learning about them and helping them to recognize the interconnectedness, they were helping me to recognize the struggle they were having and feeling disconnected. And so more than just me trying to build the connections, they actually desired connections as well. And one of their big challenges was they didn't want to bother anybody else. They thought, if I ask somebody a question about how they might collaborate with me, I don't want to bother them because they're too busy getting work done. So it was a really interesting conversation starter once you talk about, here, I'm working on something great. This is what I think we can do. Can you help me with it? And engaging people throughout the process to ask how they would contribute to it. You might find that you're actually helping them to accomplish a struggle and getting things done as you're doing great things. So fun reflection, just wanted to share that in terms of putting together perhaps that split shift that you might experience during the day, doing great things in the morning and maybe getting great things done in the afternoon when things are a little bit settled and you can get to know people. So enjoy the split shift. Do great things and get things done. Talk to you soon.